Hey, all, we've been talking about accessories, but I want to talk this week about logistics. It's great to have all those accessories, but what can you take with you depending on the job? Now, I have a large case that has all of my lighting in it. Not my flashes because they're smaller and they sit in the bag, but it has all of the big lighting that I've got. The case is even big enough for me to have the background and the piece to hold up the background for me. So that's all in one case. That case is 4 feet long. That case is not lightweight. So if I'm going to a fixed location, for example, a hotel room or a studio or some other space of that nature, that's not too bad to bring along, right? It's got wheels on it. I can lift it up, throw it in the car, haul it to where I need to go, set up all my stuff, put it back in the bag and take it out. If I had umbrellas, which I don't typically use, they would probably have enough room in that case to fit. But if I'm going out and I'm doing an event, odds are I'm going to travel as light as I possibly can. That may mean if you had an umbrella, you could take it, right? You could strap it to your backpack, which has your camera and gear in it, and go that way. But one thing to keep in mind is what can you use and how are you going to use it? Because you got an umbrella, that's great. If you don't have somebody to hold the umbrella and be out of the way so they're not casting a shadow, you're going to need to have a stand. Now you're adding more gear. The best way to know what you're going to be able to use and what you might want to use is visit the venue, especially at the same time of day that you're going to be shooting, right? Wedding photographers know this and they do it all the time. If I'm going to be shooting at a country club, I want to go to that country club the day before or 2 days before and at the same time. And you want it to be at about the same weather. So if it looks like it's going to be a sunny day, you want to make sure you're going to a sunny day. If it looks like it's going to be a little overcast, you want to have that cloudy day. So you've got some comparison. But even if you can't get the day to match exactly the same with the lighting and all, at least you can get an idea for where you could set up, right? If you're going to be using an umbrella, you need that umbrella to sit on something. If it's going to be a stand, then you're going to need to have something that the stand can sit on that's not soft ground, for example. Also bear in mind that you will be adding weights to it to keep it from falling over. So whatever your initial weight is for the umbrella on the stand, now you're going to add a couple of 5-pound weights to it, maybe a couple of 10-pound weights to it to make sure that it doesn't fall over. Now you're adding 20 or 30 pounds to the ground that it's going to be sitting on. So you want to make sure that you've got a way of making sure that that's not going to go down. Now, a way to do that, right, is to spread out the force. If you hit something with a knuckle, all that force is on that knuckle. If you hit it with the palm of your hand, then all of that force is spread across your palm. You can put something underneath the small legs of those tripods to spread that weight around. Now, if you got a 3D printer or something like that, you could make your own. I haven't seen anything out there that matches what I'm describing. But worst case scenario, a piece of cardboard, something that's got some thickness to it so that it's not going to just fold underneath the weight of the legs. It's going to be able to support it, but at the same time, you're not going to have those feet directly on the soil, so they're not going to be able to sink in the way they would normally. So you could envision, let's say, a 6x6 square of plastic, relatively thick, that allows you to put the leg on it with a little thing in there so that the leg kind of slides into it, so the leg's not going to slide across that plastic. You get your tripod in place, slide these onto each one of the legs, and now your weight's distributed. Now you can add your weights and your umbrella to then make sure that it's not going to sink in because the weight is more diffuse. The area is spread out a little bit more. But the big thing is making sure that you get an idea of where you're going to shoot and what you're going to need to bring so you can bring the minimum of what you're going to be able to need. Because unless it's a studio, you have to deal with people walking around. You're going to have to deal with possibly kids running around, possibly people drinking, wandering around. But it's a more crowded venue than shooting somebody portraits at a studio is going to be. So you need to take that into consideration when you do any kind of event, that you're not the only person there. There will be people coming and going, and any equipment you bring with you, you want to make sure that it doesn't damage anything, it doesn't fall over. It still gets the job done and is easy to bring in and pack up and take home. So that's what I got for you for logistics this week, and I'll talk to you guys next week.